Robin Glantz is a nutritionist based in Point Claire. She has two sons, age 3 and 5. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
What do you think of this bill?
You know what? Of course, there could be some, use to it. I'm sure I don't disagree with it. However, I am absolutely not convinced as a dietitian or as a mother for that matter, that it will have the desired outcome that we hope it will.
And is this a good idea? I mean, if this goes through, do you think it will make a difference?
You know what? I don't think it would make much of a difference in the short term or necessarily in the long term. I think ultimately we need to be going to the root of our obesity epidemic in children. And ultimately, I don't think it comes down to whether or not there's a cartoon character on junk food.
So, I mean,
what I see, sorry, go ahead.
Well, we were speaking with Jonathan Chung of Appetite for Books. He also has children who are, a 4-year-old and I think a 1.5 or 2-year-old now. And he said that, it's easier to do now because they're younger. But then when they're older, 6, 7, it's a little bit trickier and it's everywhere.
It certainly is. But I have to say that I think children are wiser than that. Yes, they may initially be drawn in or look at a box if there's Star Wars on it, etc. But ultimately, what really drives children's taste or what they're going to choose to eat is actually just that, how it tastes. And in my opinion, kids will know and recognize if there's marshmallows in a box or something like chocolate, whether or not there's a character on that. And maybe we have to start looking at the industry and looking at the sugar content of these foods. Furthermore, what drives kids' choices will be influence, especially as they get older, whether their friends eating and bringing in for recess. And that is where we need to really make a fundamental difference and look at what we're teaching our kids and maybe the policies at schools of what should be allowed to be brought in for snacks. But I really, for instance, I was thinking about, does it make it harder to go grocery shopping with my own kids?
Does it? Yeah.
And of course, yes, at times they'll point at a box and say, oh, mommy. And I guess perhaps because they grew up with a dietitian as a mom, they have a little bit of basic understanding about nutrition. So I sometimes will pick it up and say, oh, sorry, guys, you know what, this is not going to make a balanced breakfast for you.
You bring up an interesting point because there is a food education that a lot of people don't have access to because of their income, because of where they live, because of how they were brought up. I mean, a lot of processed foods, let's face it, are way cheaper and way faster than getting something that you have to make at home yourself and put the ingredients together. Maybe that's partly myth, but,
Well, it's absolutely right. And this is where we need to be looking bigger and wider and going further and making policies that, children are learning the same curriculum regarding nutrition from a young age, and perhaps looking at how foods are priced and access to healthy foods. But once children, even young children, are armed with that knowledge of how food affects them and what is functional food versus what is empty calories, yes, of course, it will be tempting sometimes, and that's okay, but you'll be surprised at how often children will then make the right choice.
Robin, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure. Take care.
Thanks.